Good morning. This is Sandy Conkar. Welcome to Surviving the Diagnosis. It's happened to all of us. I am the founder of caregiversanity.com, and I've been a family caregiver for nearly 44 decades, almost 40 years. But I more easily identify myself as a mom, a wife, a sister, a friend. And I am here to bring to you the caregiver side of the surviving the diagnosis. And my co-host is Peggy Mangan. She's on the road today, and she is signing in. Just a moment, please. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had a little bit of technical difficulty and my video is not playing at the moment. I'm sure that we'll get this all straightened out. But please welcome yourself to our show every week, Mondays at 10 a.m. Peggy is a two-time cancer survivor, and she brings the patient side of the diagnosis and the treatment. And we have decided to come together and actually bring to you a community of support in this forum every Monday morning. So if you would like to join us live on the show, on the panel, you can go to survivingthediagnosis.com and just opt in for reminders of the shows. You'll also then receive a replay of the show for each week. And for those of you who opt in to want to be live on the show, I will be sending out links to that particular show just a few minutes before the show starts, so you can join us. And what Peggy and I do is we like to talk about a little bit on the topic that we feature in our newsletter each week. And this week it's how to tell others about the diagnosis, whether you are the patient again or you're the friend of a patient and you're overwhelmed with emotion and concern for your friend or your loved one, and you're telling your friends or colleagues or even family members about what you're going through, what you're experiencing as the friend or as the sister or the sibling, um, as the spouse or partner. So it's always a good idea to share your experiences with others. One, it helps you release those challenges, those emotions that you're experiencing. It also allows others to know that they're not alone, that they may be holding in all of their emotions and frustrations around something that they're going through. And when others talk about their experiences, that person might understand that, wow, it is okay to say what's going on. Certain generations, mine particularly, we were taught not to discuss personal things. We were taught to keep them all to ourselves, just, work through it. The show must go on, put on a smiling face, don't let anyone know. But really, in essence, what that does is it really hurts us emotionally and physically and mentally and spiritually. It really brings us down when we don't feel that we can confidently express what we really truly are feeling. It's difficult to put a smiling face on when you're really going through a very challenging time in your life. And sometimes people don't realize maybe why you might be a little standoffish, or so, you might have been a very outgoing person. All of a sudden, you're very reserved and very hidden, and they can't help you if they don't know what's going on. And again, you can decide to give them just a little piece of information, or you can really get everything out. And that really, in my opinion, sometimes helps the most. Again, like I said, because you're dumping all that negative garbage and you're freeing up your body. So once it's up and out, it's just really a freeing experience. So I'm going to take a break just for a second here because I want to try and bring Peggy back onto the show. So if you'll bear with me, I'm going to try and reconnect with her and have her call in and try and figure out why my camera's not working. There we go. All right. I see myself now, so you should be able to see me as well. Again, if you're just signing on, this is Sandy Conkar. I am the co-founder of CaregiverSanity.com, and you are watching Surviving the Diagnosis. It's happened to all of us. And here's Miss Peggy. Hey, Peggy. Hi.
Hello. A little technical difficulty there, but can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you great. Thank you. Yeah, great.
Okay.
All right. I
Wonderful.
just did our regular intro, and if you'd like to say a little bit about yourself, I did, but feel free. I told everybody that you were on the road today, and so we're experiencing new technology, at least for us, and it's exciting.
It is a cat is at the wheel, and she's got very good care of what's going on. And just to introduce myself, Peggy Mangan, RN, two times cancer survivor. And our main goal, Sandy's and mine, is to be of service to you, the patient, you, the caregiver, and you, the professional caregiver. And we're here for you. This is your call. You can come on every Monday and be with us and do some tapping, and it's all about you. Back to you,
Definitely,
Sandy.
definitely. And we're talking about how you tell someone of your diagnosis, and I'd just like to mention with what's going on with me personally, my mom's illness came around quite abruptly, and we were on vacation visiting the kids, and when we received the news, so that wasn't exactly the most optimal way of receiving news over the phone and so far away. But what I kind of took for granted was that because I had neighbors that were uh, watching out for our house and our pets, that I just presumed all the neighbors knew what was going on. And the one neighbor I was talking to when I got home, and I just kind of blurted out my mom's diagnosis and prognosis, and it kind of put her in a little bit of a tailspin because she wasn't aware that it was so severe. And so uh, my suggestion of telling others is to gently move into it if you can, because not everybody knows all the details. So I've apologized to her, and we've worked through it. She feels better, and I think part of it too was that she had just lost her mom about a year and a half ago, so that was still a little bit raw for her too. But
Yeah.
like I was telling Peggy before we started the call to the show today, is yesterday was a great day for my mom. She got out and came over to my house and visited for quite a few hours, and we actually sat and watched a movie, and so she had a real good day. So I'm very grateful for
Good.
yesterday, and I'm sure today is a good day for her as well. So, do you have
Wonderful.
any suggestions on, like I did, when even though I was getting the news on the phone while I was on the road, when we got to see the kids, I made the decision because my son was going through finals at college, um, that I was going to delay the news to him until I knew he was done with finals. Um, Fortunately, he understood. He was rather happy that I did. He's not happy of the news, but he was grateful that I did hold off for a couple days until he was finished with what he needed to do. So,
Yeah.
uh, Peggy, you've gone through this a couple times. Do you have any suggestions telling your kids or your family?
Well, yeah, it's always a heartbreak, not only getting the news yourself, but having to tell family. It just is. Um, I I don't I don't want to make anybody sad. My family has been through so much with me, but this last cancer, that was so severe, I just hated to tell them. And when you tell somebody, you can see the look in their eyes immediately. Right now I'm talking about just the general friend or whatever neighbor. They kind of, the pain is there for them as well as you, but if you decide that this is painful for them and you just don't want to pursue it with them. But as far as family goes, I had to tell my daughters and grandchildren and all my friends and family, and it was just torture again because, as I told you before, I had another cancer several years before that was also pretty severe, very severe. And one thing I want to mention about a cancer patient and talking about their situation is that look in the other person's eyes, and you just know, you can read it. You just know, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to be around for this. And you end up being cognizant of their feelings and not your own.
Mm-hmm.
And here you're the one that's going through it. And it's always, you try to spare them. And therefore you don't get to share, and you don't get to emote about your own situation very often.
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore I sort of learned a way to just kind of segue it in a little bit. And it's like what you said, Sandy. It's, kind of be gentle about it, go at it slowly. And I will tell you, the person that always brought it up to me, that actually knew, the person that always brought it up to me, it was a relief for me that I didn't have to break the ice because of obvious reasons. Your bald head is one, and your debilitated condition, is another. And it just, I so admired the person that just uh, asked me how I was and really, truly cared about it. Whereas, like the other situations I described, sometimes, okay, well, hope you feel better, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
People don't know what to say. They just don't. But if you follow your heart and just say what's in your heart, it can't be wrong
Mm-hmm.
when
Right.
it comes to talking to the patient.
Well, I try and go
So,
into I'm trying to go into a situation once I've learned about a diagnosis. I try and go into that situation or that room or that that person's presence, the patient's presence, in not a real like, oh, good morning, how are you, or oh, good morning, how are you today. I try and do a nice balance so I can walk in and see what they're actually feeling, because if I go in real bubbly and they are having a really bad day, that to me was not so good. And then if you go the other way and they're having a good day and then you've got a long face, it's like that kind of can ruin their good day, you know?
yeah,
So,
it's a balancing act, just like anything else.
hmm,
And we try to get it right, and sometimes we don't.
right.
And so at least for me, I understood. I understood the looks in their eyes, and a lot of times I just help them out. Do I think that makes sense?
Yeah.
And try to pick up the slack for them.
Hmm.
Here I am with my bald head and my baseball cap, and yes, I do. I'm getting treatment, and um, what can you say? You just have to bring it out. It's the elephant in the room most of the time anyway.
Right. Yeah. So would you suggest then uh, that if a friend or a family member comes in and sees you that they should they it's okay to feel free to just start talking about things or asking you how you are doing, and
Yes,
so that gives you that
absolutely.
window open.
Yeah, I found it much more comforting and much relief when we could talk about it without ignoring it. Like I said, it's the elephant in the room. Here's this lady that had pretty blonde hair, and now she's bald with a baseball cap on.
Hmm.
Something's up.
Yeah,
Might
right.
as well talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay.
So,
Well,
I,
so when you think about wanting to talk about it and how to bring it up, um, do you have any uh, like challenges still in your mind when you think about it, or that maybe even how you felt that you had to bring it up first?
um, basically, it's kind of in their court. Like I said, with in the early stage, of course, I just got on the phone and called all my family. Um, I just, I was so sick that I just had to call and tell them all
Mm.
that this is really bad. I'm very sick. The hospital, and the news spread from there. And
Right.
then when I did see them, uh, when they did come to my hospital room, it was easier, not great, because they're in such pain themselves. And one thing I noticed that I did, that I'm sure probably a lot of people do, and that's try to be strong for them. That was kind of my MO anyway, because I'm the oldest sibling. Not that I'm old, but I'm the, the first one. And with my children, I always wanted to save them from anything painful. And um, it was just the initial, when you see them, everybody cries, the tears are there, and
Hmm.
then you get on with the plan, the plan of treatment. And
Definitely.
so it's hard for the patient, extremely. And if people would understand that it's just better if they initiate and, and you know, just the how are you is so much relief for the patient.
Right.
And the hardest thing is when people ignore it. And what do you talk about? Again, here you are with your bald head and your baseball cap on, and it's uh, life as we know it. Well, it isn't for me. And if
Right.
somebody
Yeah.
wants, and if they don't want to talk about it, then I honor their feelings because they look so pained. They were in pain just being around me. So I gave them a quick out. I'm not gonna force anybody to talk about my diagnosis or prognosis. They obviously are very uncomfortable, and I
Right.
left as quickly as they could get.
Yeah. Definitely. Well,
Yeah.
before we begin tapping on how to tell others, I'd like to mention to those who are just joining us that you're listening to survivingthediagnosis.com and on Google Hangouts every Monday at 10 a.m. And you're with Peggy Mangan, who's on the road right now heading to a conference, and I'm Sandy Conkar. And I'd like to also thank our sponsor who believes in our message, and that is Moira Hutchison, and she is a hypnochemo uh, for cancer care practitioner and with hypnosis for cancer care. And you can see her banner on survivingthediagnosis.com and click through to her website. I'm very grateful. We are very grateful that she is one of our sponsors and supports our work, that we can bring to you every week our show and the support that we feel that we provide to both patients, caregivers, and which are family members, professional caregivers, and the friends and extended social circles of people, because as we get the diagnosis information, it trickles down and everybody is affected in one fashion or another with the news. And
Yep.
as Peggy and I've said before on the show, that once you receive this news, regardless of what the diagnosis is, it could be cancer, it could be like in my son's case, you're paralyzed. It could be that you have MS. It could be, you have migraines. Um, that your life will never be the same. It even even in my own experience, when there's been treatment and people have gotten better, your life is, for me, my life has always been richer after the experience. But if it's a new diagnosis, you may not see that in the moment. Um, but
No,
even with my most recent, with my mom, just what I'm grateful for with this prognosis and diagnosis is, like I said yesterday, she sat and we watched a movie, and from beginning to end, and I can't tell you how enjoyable that was for me, because my mom is always having to do something, some type of a chore, dishes or feed the dogs or do this or do that, and oh, I don't have time to sit and watch a movie. And she sat and watched a movie, and it was very enjoyable. So I'm very grateful for that, for yesterday.
oh, and I'm
Um,
very grateful that you got that opportunity, Sandy. That sounds like quality time with your mom.
it was, and I got very little of that, throughout the years, because she's been programmed. That was the way she was raised. That if you were sitting down, you were wasting time, and you always had to be doing something, and it wasn't necessarily doing anything fun, because that was a lot of times a waste of time as well. So, but I have been also grateful for the fact that I've been able to work through that through tapping, so I don't carry that on. So I learned to have fun and not do. I actually say, you know what, I'm going to put that over here and do something else for fun. So, uh,
Wonderful.
yeah, those are the learned beliefs that we learn to release, huh, Peggy?
Oh, exactly. And we're doing it all the time.
Yeah.
Sandy and I help each other with the tapping all the time. We swap and swap tapping sessions. So we're dumping our stuff constantly. And if you're new with a diagnosis, prognosis, I wholeheartedly recommend that you do get with a practitioner, or better yet, with Sandy and I, or come on the show or join our membership, because dumping the traumas that you've been dealt with your whole life, they're still there. They are still there, and your body is holding on to them. And what happens when you have enough trauma build up, and there's a lot of things that cause trauma, but there's big T traumas, which maybe is an auto accident, or at war, or sexual abuse, or something that really alters a person, child abuse. Those are big T traumas, and if you have anything like that in your background, I beg you to dump it and get with a practitioner to help you do that. Because when I dumped my stuff, and that's a quote that I'm going to use a lot, and I have, when I dumped my stuff, I started getting better. And I'm not going to say, Sandy and I are here to cure you, but what I really gained was peace of mind and off that fight flight merry-go-round. And once you get off of that, your body can start repairing.
Hmm.
And the good, best way to get off of that is start working with the trauma of your disease, your treatment, and the fear of recurrence, and any traumas in your history.
Definitely.
So yeah, it's so necessary.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, even as I was receiving the news about my mom, I was tapping, and I was still very upset, but I know that I was able to reduce some of that intense feelings around it. And I relate receiving the news, honestly. I mean, I let you know and I let a couple other people know that what was going on, but I very briefly the news that I received didn't go into great detail, but I did say too that I'm going off the grid for a couple days. Don't worry about me. I'm going to be fine. I just need to process this. And so
Yeah,
hopefully by doing that, that allowed you to know what was going on, that I didn't just drop off the end of the earth, you know, and that I would resurface. And then when I resurfaced, then it was like, okay, now I can wrap my head around this a little bit better, and now let's do some tapping, and that's what we did, and some matrix, and it's just really been quite beneficial. It doesn't mean I don't have my sad moments, and it doesn't mean that I don't get angry, and go through all the steps of emotion that we talk about on the show regularly. But um, it's almost like a tailspin to get the news. I mean, we talk about the three P's of diagnosis. It's the pre-diagnosis, present, and post. And the pre-diagnosis is, leading up to, I'm not feeling well, don't know what's going on. Then you go and get the medical diagnosis. Then you got the treatments, and then you get better, and then you've got the post when they send you home and say, you're cured. Well, I got all that in 24 hours. I went through
yeah,
all three of those within less than 24 hours. And
yeah,
and then I had to deal with or work through, I don't like using the word deal, but I had to work through the prognosis and what we were going to do in making those decisions. So it was definitely a little challenging, and I uh, just am so grateful I've got the tools I have today. So, and speaking of the tools, it's about 10:30, and we usually start our tapping right now. And before we do, just want to let people know who are listening that you're listening to survivingthediagnosis.com, and join us every Monday. And this is a complimentary, working free with us, tapping along with us. This is an opportunity to introduce yourself to us, our work, and tapping. And if you would like to also work a little bit more in a smaller group setting, and more specific on your stuff, feel free, join our membership. It's a monthly membership. Give it a try. Continue every month, or if it's not exactly what you're looking for, there isn't any contracts. So, and right now that's $27 a month, and we meet the first Tuesday of every month, and the third Thursday of every month. So that's twice a month that Peggy and I come on for an hour with the group, and we tap on your stuff, and do a little bit of do the matrix re-imprinting as well. It's a little more in depth, so we don't do too much of that on any of the shows, but we do introduce you to the tapping. And you can go to survivingthediagnosis.com/membership if you would like to check out all the benefits that are waiting for you in the community. And so I'd like to begin tapping on how do you tell others of the diagnosis. If you're new to tapping, you're new to the show, you can go um, to, I'll pull up the, let's see, they're in the, I'm trying to, I'm going to try and pull up the tapping diagram, but I'll walk you through the tapping as we go through it. Um,
Yeah.
and, you know, but
You'll want
those are in our newsletter. Again, you can sign up for the newsletter as well, and the tapping diagram is a link is right in that newsletter. So let's see. Let's try and put together a thing on the tapping, Peggy. What do you think on how to tell somebody? Do you have anything specific on should I, maybe like mine, a couple of mine were like, should I tell them? When should I tell them? Just the stress of telling them. Maybe just the stress around telling others
Yeah, yeah.
globally.
That was definitely
Okay,
definitely
so
stressful when I had to tell my kids and my immediate family, my sisters and brother, and friends, close friends. It was, they were all with me when I had melanoma, and it was years before I was considered in the clear.
hmm
And so when it came back, another cancer, I just thought, oh, I cannot tell them this. I just can't do it.
right,
But I did it. So, but it was stressful, very.
yeah. It is because
Um,
you don't want to give that news.
yes, yes. You don't want to make someone feel very, very pained and very, very sad, and all kinds of things crop up. I'm going to lose my mom. I'm going to lose my sister. Um,
hmm
it was not a good prognosis for me at all.
hmm
Everybody had come to grips with it quickly because when I presented, it was stage 4, and at one point they said if I didn't respond to the initial round, first round, that I would probably just have 3 months left.
hmm
And they all had to wrap their minds around all that. So yeah, it was tough.
Okay. Do you want to echo or do you want to tap? Which one do you want to do?
I think listening to you and just responding by tapping would be better for me because I'm kind of multi-focusing here, and I don't
Okay.
think I can lead very well.
Okay. All right. Well, I did find the tapping diagram, so I'm going to do a screen share here, and
Okay.
uh, so our listeners can look at the diagram as we tap. So again, what I'm going to suggest is everybody just taking a real deep breath and hold it a second or two, and then release it. And taking another deep breath.
Can you still see me, Sandy?
We're on screen share.
Okay, so you can't see me.
Let me see here.
I just
Uh,
want to, if I tap, they'll be able to see where I'm tapping.
yeah, they'll be able to see you. Yeah, when I talk, they'll see the tapping diagram. Or I'll just leave the tapping diagram up now. Everybody just take a look at it. And then as we tap, we'll say the different points so you'll know, so you can follow along.
Right, and I will demonstrate as I follow your lead.
Okay, sounds good. So
Okay.
taking another deep breath. Hold it a second or two, and then on the exhale, think of the word relax.
Relax. I do. I am. Not you driving.
I don't know. You look like you're driving yourself. So, okay. So just now, what I'd like you to take in another deep breath and release it. And Peggy, when you think of the stress around having to deliver the diagnosis or the news, on a scale of 0 to 10, what would that be right now when you you felt that you had to give that news?
15.
Okay. So it's still up there when you think about it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Sandy,
All right.
can
All
you
right.
see me, Sandy?
No, your video just went out.
Yes, and I don't. Well, as
That's
long as
okay. We're
I'm
good.
okay.
We're
Okay,
good.
I'm gonna tell you. Okay.
All right. So, where do you feel the 15, that heightened intensity in your body right now?
In my chest, my heart.
Okay. Okay. And if you could put an emotion to it, what would that emotion be?
That emotion is fear,
Okay.
fear and dread.
Fear and stress. Okay. All right.
Dread.
So,
D-R-E.
dread.
Yes.
Dread. Okay. Thank you. All righty. So let's tap on the karate chop, and that's on the side of your hand. Either hand is fine, but from the bottom of your little finger to the top of your wrist. And just
Okay.
repeat after me. Even though
Even though
I had all this fear and dread
I had all this fear and dread
when I knew I had to deliver more bad news,
when I knew I had to deliver more bad news,
I deeply and profoundly
I deeply and profoundly
love and accept myself.
love and accept myself.
Even though I had all this fear and dread,
Even though I have all this fear and dread,
and I'm holding a lot still within my body,
and I'm holding a lot of illness in my body,
I deeply and profoundly accept who I am.
I deeply and profoundly accept who I am.
Even though I have all this fear and dread in my body,
Even though I have all this fear and dread in my body,
and it's from many years ago,
and it is from many years ago,
but I'm still holding on to it.
and I am still holding on to it.
I deeply and profoundly accept who I am.
I deeply and profoundly accept who I am.
Okay, on the eyebrow point, right at the beginning of the hairline of the eyebrow, all this fear and dread.
All this fear and dread.
On the side of the eye, all this fear and dread I hold on to.
All this fear and dread I hold on to.
Under the eye, all this fear and dread.
All this fear and dread.
Taking a deep breath and release it. Under the nose, all this fear and dread.
All this fear and dread.
On the chin point, all this fear and dread.
All this fear and dread.
On the collarbone point, all this fear and dread.
All this fear and dread.
Under the arm point, all this fear and dread.
All this fear and dread.
Top of the head point, all this fear and dread.
All this fear and dread.
On the eyebrow, I choose to release it now.
I choose to release it now.
On the side of the eye, I've held on to it for way too long.
I've held on to it for way too long.
Under the eye, I choose to release it now.
I choose to release it now.
Under the nose, there is no need for it now.
There is no need for it now.
On the chin, I've held on to it too long.
Held on to it too long.
On the collarbone, I choose to release it now.
I choose to release it now.
All this fear and dread.
All this fear and dread.
Top of the head, I know once it is said.
Wait, say that again, Sandy.
Once I state the diagnosis and prognosis,
Once I face diagnosis and prognosis,
I know I can release it.
I know I can release it.
Once the news has been delivered,
Once the news has been delivered,
I know I can release it.
I know I can release it.
On the side of the eye, once this diagnosis is released,
Once the diagnosis is released,
I have no need to hold on to it.
I have no need to hold on.
Under the eye, once the news is delivered,
Once the news is delivered,
I can release it freely.
I can can release it freely.
Once the news is delivered,
Once the news is delivered,
I can release the fear and dread.
I can release the fear and dread.
On the chin point, it's done and released.
It's done and released.
It's collarbone, it's stated and now it's released.
Stated and now it's released.
Taking a deep breath and release it.
That was a yawn.
Yeah, and just tune back into your the stress around stating the diagnosis, telling everyone. Where is that 0 to 10, or in your case 0 to 15 now?
It is down to a 3.
Okay. And how does your chest and heart feel?
My chest feels okay, but there's a little butterflies in my stomach.
Okay, so that's moved. Okay. And the fear and dread, if you could put an emotion to the stomach area, what would your emotions be?
Sad.
Okay. All right. So let's tap on the eyebrow. The sadness.
Sadness.
The sadness around the stress.
Sadness around the stress.
Under the eye of having to deliver this news.
Having to deliver this news.
I release having to deliver this news.
I release having to deliver this news.
And all the stress that's related to it.
And all the stress that's related to it.
All of the sadness.
All of the sadness.
I'm releasing it now.
I'm releasing it now.
I've held on to it for far too long.
I've held on to it for far too long.
There is no need for it any longer.
There's no need for it any longer.
I've delivered the news.
I delivered the news
Many years ago.
many years ago.
There is no need to hold on to this any longer.
There is no need for this any longer.
And I release it now. On the collarbone, I release it completely now.
I release it completely now.
I release all the sadness.
I release all the sadness.
I release all the sadness related to the diagnosis.
I release all the sadness related to the diagnosis.
I release all the sadness related to the diagnosis.
I release all the sadness related to the diagnosis.
Side of the eye, I release all the sadness related to telling the diagnosis.
I release all the sadness related to telling the diagnosis.
I release the sadness that I had to deliver the news.
I release the sadness I have to deliver the news.
I release the sadness related to my having to deliver the news.
I release the sadness related to my having to deliver the news.
There's no need to hang on to the sadness any longer.
No need to hang on to the sadness any longer.
All my reports have been clean.
All my reports have been clean.
And I am healthy.
And I am healthy. You're working on me, girl.
So there's no need. So there's no more need for sadness.
So there's no more need for sadness.
I am healthy.
I am healthy.
I choose to be healthy.
I choose to be healthy.
And I choose to be happy.
And I choose to be happy.
Tap on the collarbone. Breathe in and out.
Oh, you have got me shifting so much. I'm crazy. Wow.
So how's the stress when you think about having to give the news of the diagnosis? How's the stress around that?
Well, it's gone. I released it. I released the feeling around that. It just feels gone, Sandy. Are you there? Oh, man. Are you there, Sandy? It appears we lost her. Oh,
Yeah, I heard a whistle.
Yep. I got most of it done. New Google. Bring it back up.
This is a mess.
Hello, you there? Sandy, you back? Or am I back? Hello?
You know, there's always that delay from when it connects to when the line, like, opens up again.
True. I'll sit here a second. Hello, Sandy. I'm back. Hello?
We should stay on 75, right?
Yep. Hello, Sandy. Are you there? Hello? Hello? Almost 10.
No, it's going to be almost 11.
I mean, almost 11. Hello, Sandy.
Hello.
I see you.
Okay. Oh, I was able to connect. Okay, good. We got back.
Sandy.
Good.
Hello?
All right.
Oh,
Yes.
I see you.
Hello. All right. So, how is your? Okay, I was. Okay. Okay. All
Are
right. So,
we,
how was your? How is your?
are we off the air?
No, we're on. We're still on. We were able to reconnect. Yeah. So, how was your 0 to 10? You said it was down to a 0.
Call me back. Call me. Oh, she's
Okay.
still talking.
Probably signing
Call
off.
me back, yes.
Okay. Can you see me?
Hi there.
Hello.
Can you hear me, Sandy?
I can.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I can't hear
Oh.
you. You
All
sound
right.
like Jabba the Hutt.
Well, this is live. Okay.
Can you
Live
call me back?
technology. No, because I'll disconnect the show.
Oh, mercy.
Okay.
Call me back.
All right. Let me see.
Good. You're crazy.
we go. We'll give that a try. Sorry about this, uh, audience. We will try and connect here again with Peggy. A little challenging on the road with the road noise and everything. So, but like I was saying, as I'm waiting for Peggy to reconnect, to just check your 0 to 10, and if you were say a 7 and you went up to a 10, don't stop. Continue to tap so that you can bring that intensity back down to where you started or below. Okay, and I see Peggy trying to connect now, and we can see what her check back in with her 0 to 10. She did say she went from a 15 to a 0, so that's good. And
And here I am, Sandy.
okay, hello.
Hi, I'm
Hi.
back.
Okay, good. So I was just letting the listeners know to just check in with their 0 to 10s and to uh, just like we do with you, what double check your, where you're feeling those numbers, how you know that you have a 15 or a 7 or whatever. And you said that your heart and chest, I was asking how that felt now that you say that the stress around the memory of having to relay that news again was gone. But how does your chest feel right now?
I feel totally relieved. Totally, it's all gone. That last round really moved a lot of energy,
Wonderful.
and it was in my stomach, but that's also gone.
Okay.
It's totally resolved, and
Wonderful.
like like I said, you did a good job.
Well, I just facilitate. You're the one. Remember, you are the one that does the work because you're the one that's releasing the trauma and the emotions and everything. So, I facilitate and keep you on track.
Well, you certainly did, and I so appreciate it because I needed that.
Wonderful. Good. That's the thing is it doesn't matter how long ago or how recent we experience these traumas and these challenges that we need to we want to address them so we can maintain our health and be
Yep,
clear-minded. So it's very important for self-care
yep,
on both the patient and the caregivers. So, but
absolutely.
well, we are nearing the end of the show, Peggy, and I think that we, with a couple of technical glitches, but I think we did a great job today that we could bring both of us to our audience today. So thank you for doing that. It was
Uh,
wonderful.
I'm so happy that this worked out, and
Yeah.
I'm happy I have a driver here because, as she said, I'm glad you weren't driving.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't have been so good.
Oh,
we
and she's
we
signing off to you and the folks at home.
okay, alrighty. And again, I just want to leave everyone with the message that for the week, as always, and that is that you're not alone, and that your dreams and your desires are always within you and within reach, and you can choose to live in freedom and peace. So, everyone, have a great week, and we will see you next week. And again, it is. Next week is the 23rd. We'll have open discussion. If you want to come on to the panel, feel free to do so. Sign up over at survivingthediagnosis.com. And also, I almost forgot, and I don't want to forget this. Um, we have our guest Monday, and that is on the last Monday of the month. Give me a second here. Uh, I should have the date right in front of me, and I don't.
Counselor, yay!
Oh, it's June 30th, and Deborah Miller, she's a PhD, and she will be our guest on Guest Monday on the 30th at 10 a.m. And if you would like to join us, please do so. You can go over to survivingthediagnosis.com/Miller and read all about her. She'll be the discussion is how to speak to our blood cells.
Yes,
And
that's
I that
amazing.
that's going to be so interesting. And she is um, has a PhD and I'm pulling up her page now, so bear with me. Uh, There we go. She has a PhD in cell and molecular biology and is passionate about helping people feel empowered and capable of maintaining a healthy state of mind and body. So again, go over to survivingthediagnosis.com/Miller, read all about her, and also sign up for the show, a reminder there as well. So,
Also, Sandy,
yeah.
I'd like to say that she works with very sick children in Oaxaca, Mexico,
Mhm.
and she she works with these little children that are just very, very ill and have lost many of them. But she brings peace to these children by teaching them tapping, and she uses tappy very well. And each little kid that gets entered into the hospital gets to have Tappy Bear with them, and it helps to give these little children peace. And she's written a book, The Dragon. Oh shoot, I don't have it in front of me, but something about
Well,
dragon colors.
yeah, it's on her it's on the website at survivingthediagnosis.com/Miller, and she'll be talking about the books on the show as well. And yeah, so I hope listeners will sign up for that, and that is on the 30th of June. So,
Yeah.
so again, have a great week, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Bye
Bye, everybody. See you next week. I won't be driving. I mean,
bye.
I won't be riding either. See you. Bye, Sandy.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye. See you later.